What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, or whatever day you're watching this. It's time for another budget deck video. Below 5,000 dust, all regions, bronze through gold. Let's see if we can climb the standard ladder without needing a payday loan. Looking at the win rates very fast, Demon Hunter has taken Mage off the top spot. Mage is still good. Mage still has some good things. If you like playing big spell Mage, that's essentially the only thing that I've seen being played on the ladder this past week. And then Warlock, Hunter, Paladin, Shaman. Paladin goes to number 5. That's shocking to me because Paladin's still very good. But yeah, there's Hunter above that, Warlock above that. And then look, I know that we've been joking around that Priest and Rogue are, the lowest of the totem poles. Priest is good if you have the dust to spend. Rogue, there is a new deck emerged in the past week or so that's really making things a little bit easier for Rogue. Doesn't mean that this class win rate is saying, hey, there's nothing that you can play. There is an option, and we're going to talk about it today, going over the classes. And this is the last 7 days. This is bronze through gold, just to see how the archetypes are going for each one of the classes, like we always do. Corpsicle, Razzle, and Frost Death Knight are the top winners right now. Plague is just gone. Unfortunately, it looks like Plague has finally met its match, even though there's a lot of games being played. If we look at the games rate, remember, this is the last 7 days. This is only for those that have a deck tracker, so this is not every single game. But Corpsicle has something, Razzle has something, Frost. We're going to talk about Frost, because I like talking about Frost Death Knight. Let's talk about Demon Hunter. Pirate's the only name of the game right now for the Demon Hunter. Makes sense. It's cheap, it's fast, it's aggressive, it's not too difficult to play. Shopper, Highlander, and other, it's just nothing good. You're playing Pirate if you're playing Demon Hunter. Remember, bronze through gold. Druid, you have a lot of options for Druid. Great thing is, the Druid cards work so well together to where, Dragon Druid has some Highlander. Highlander has some Dragon Druid. Ramp has a little bit of Dragon in it. Treant has a little bit of it's the same thing. Concierge is not that great, but that does not mean Concierge is not winning games. It's just not doing that amazing right now compared to the other archetypes. Hunter's got a lot of options as well. Hunter is expensive, but listen, Secret Hunter is a 59.9% win rate, and a lot of games are being played with that, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty popular also, 2%. Yeah, there's also Breakfast and Spell and Highlander. Highlander is super expensive. I think that's one of the second most expensive decks in the game right now. Highlander Hunter, it's almost at 20k, if it's not at 20k. Mage, you got Big Spell, and you've got Elemental. They're different. Both are very different. Elemental is weaker between Big Spell and Elemental or what have you. And everybody's just trying out the new only because Big Spell still wins some games. But to me, it's after playing it a couple of games, it's good, but it's not crazy. I'm not a fan of it. Maybe it's just play style. It's all subjective. Let's go to Paladin. Paladin still has hand buff, still has flood, still has mining, and that's about it. I thought Tourist and Earthen was going to pop up a little bit, and it really didn't. Not through the bronze through gold side. Priest, yeah, you got Zarimi. Highlander, this is weird because Highlander and Heal are not that great bronze through gold, but that doesn't mean that they're not winning games. Heal's pretty good, and Highlander is also pretty good. It's able to stay in the game forever. Highlander Priest games are very, very long. But Zarimi's the only one really that's in the position of above 50% win rate. But again, Priest is very expensive. Rogue, yeah, the only thing that's worth talking about in Rogue, and look at this, is a 41%, 41%, 38%, 34%, just not good. But this Weapon Rogue, we're going to talk about because it's winning some games, and I'd like to show everybody what this deck is. And I have two Weapon Rogue choices for you. Shaman is it's doing great. For it being as, middle of the road as it is on the win rates chart, Evolve, Highlander, Element, there's a lot of options for Shaman. I think I talked about one of the Shaman decks like 2 weeks ago. They're just too expensive. I was not able to sit there and try to find a way of cheating out some of the cards that you wouldn't need. You just need everything in there, and like the Highlander Shaman is like 14,000 dust, so it's just you know, if you're playing on a budget and trying to win games on a budget, I would not say Shaman would be your pick at all. Pain and Insanity and a little bit of Sludge for Warlock. It looks like Pain's the only one. We are going to talk about Insanity only because there's a couple of cool cards, just, you know, because I like cool cards, and I'm sure you do too. And then Warrior has Highlander and Odin. Highlander keeps on flip-flopping. One week it's like below 50%, and the next week it's going up. I'm thinking maybe that has something to do with how the big spell mage just ran rampant on the bronze to gold ladder in the past week, 10 days since the mini set came out. Because between the two of them, it's easy to fight big spell mage with Highlander Warrior, because literally you're able to just, as long as you survive like one or two of those turns with Tsunami, you're fine. You have nothing to worry about. Okay, let's go. I've got 5 decks for you to climb the ladder this week. We're going to talk about the first one. We've talked about it before, but it's important, you know. Demon Hunter is now beating out Mage for the win rates. And then this one is 6,000 dust, but I normally say 5,000. This one is totally bait. There's 2 cards in here that are cores. You're not have to pay for it. So 6,000 minus 1,600 minus 1,600. It's below 5,000 dust. I'm not lying to you guys. Check it out. Through the Fell in Flames is the first card here. Give a minion rush, and then the finale. And you'd always want to be able to play this on the finale is N+1/+1. Miracle Salesman. You know what this does. That gets some tradables, so you get some card draw. Patches the Pilot is awesome. Sock Puppet Slither Spear. Taste of Chaos. Listen, this is what you're working towards. You're working towards Adrenaline Fiend. You're working for Blood Sale Recruiter, which is going to discover the pirate. That one's not really that important. Quick pick to have that attack, and then also have the card draw in it. Sigil of Skydiving to get those pirates. This monkey there, the Hosen Roughhouser. Whenever another friendly penalty attacks, give it +1/+1. You have South Sea Captain, which gives all your pirates +1/+1. There's dangerous combinations here. Once you get to turn 3, turn 4, you'll see some heavy swings on your side. I know you all have seen this if you've been playing for any past 10 days, 15 days, 2 weeks. You've seen this deck. So watch the play patterns and just realize that you're trying to get as wide of a board as you can using the Hosen, using the treasure distributor to make them stronger, having more attack, and then of course, listen, Marin's in here. Marin's absolutely the free card in here. Why would you not put this in here? It can give you a quick card draw or make stuff in your hand. Legendary minions, what have you. Kayn also breaks up any taunt. You will see a lot of taunts in the game recently, past few months. So this right here will all friendly attacks ignore taunt. So whatever board you have, they think they have, you know, a taunt to save them from that big face smack. No, not going to happen. And then Ziliax, of course, has the pylon that gives them +1/+1, and then it costs 1 less for each friendly minion. So super cheap, and it also makes your minions that much more difficult. Like I said, 55% win rate. The only thing you're really worried about, and I don't know if it's worried about, not as strong against paladins. And yes, I don't think you're seeing a ton of paladins as you were a couple of weeks ago, but that's still, it's not that crazy. This is a good deck. Against mage, it's still at a 52.9% win rate. It's a good deck for you to at least try, and it's not that expensive. Next up is Frost Death Knight. This is at 57.3% win rate, and this is 3,880 dust. And this is essentially, look, another card with another deck with Marin the Manager. It's a great card. It's one of the ones that originally when it first came out, I was like, oh, it's a card. Yeah, it's cool, no problem. It's a great card, and I'm glad it's in I'm glad it's in our decks that we could use and we could play. Oh my god, I had a brain fart. Sorry about that. Gorgon's Armu is another one. You get this off of the rewards track. This is a great card. You know, put it in turn 3, just save it, and then boom, you have some crazy minions at the end of your turn. it's going to be random. It's going to be random, but it's pretty good. And then this is just Frost Death Knight. It's just Frost spells, Miracle Salesman. Hey, look, that's in there. Scarab Keychain, discover a 2-cost card, Corpsicle. Corpsicle is amazing. You want to go ahead and you want to keep this as much as possible. So spend those corpses to return this to your hand. And it's just 3 damage all the time. At the end of your turn, you'll get it back. Dreadhound is a good card that's just sticky. It's just sticky everywhere. Frost Strike, Harbinger, Winner, Mining Casualties. You know what you're doing. You're building this up, and it's just a war of attrition there. Horizon's Edge is also awesome because some of these cards are just 1/1s or 2/1s, so it's easy to kill. Plus, you have the hero power that, you know, after a friendly minion dies, so just throw your hero power out and deal 3 damage. Marrow Manipulator is also super fun. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy for each of the spent 5 corpses. Great card. It's not too difficult. You are going to run some problems into Druid. You'll run a little bit of an issue into, yeah, that's really it, Druid. Everything else is great. Against Demon Hunter, this is a 73% win rate. That's crazy. Against Rogue, 70%. That's nuts as well. This deck, we're not going crazy. They took the Frost Death Knight from a few months ago, and they just essentially put Marin the Manager and Gorgon's Armo in here. It's not bad, and it's super, super cheap. With you getting those two, it's just all common cards and, you know, rares and what have you. Nothing crazy. Yeah, look, it's all commons. I mean, there might be a rare or an epic in here, but I don't see it. There's that one. And then an epic. Not bad at all. That's a great deck for you to be starting out in the game. Next up is Insanity Warlock, 4,800 dust at 59.7% win rate. Now, to me, it says it's not good against Demon Hunters and Death Knights. Well, kind of Demon Hunters. Not that great, below 50% on Druids. You're not seeing a ton of Druids right now, but against Priest, it's awesome. There's a lot of things here. Listen, Insanity Warlock is exactly what you want to think about when you're playing this deck. Both players take fatigue damage twice. I guess that's why they're calling this one Insanity. This is just doing damage to yourself and your opponent, and before you know it, your opponent is no longer playing. Spellstring Harp. That's important. When you're doing this fatigue damage or what have you, if you have this, it's going to restore your health. So when you're doing big swingy turns, you want to have this with you. Fracking. Look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck. Draw 1 and destroy the others. That's to get the cards out that you need based on the situation. Party Fiend on 1 is amazing. Summon 2, 1/1 Fell Beast, deal 3 damage to your hero. Yes, you could do it on 1 to have 3 things on board. Against Mage, it's not very good. Void Virtuoso, during your turn, your hero is immune. So when you're doing those fatigue damage on both and what have you and pulling these big fatigue things, try to have the Void Virtuoso out. Baritone Imp, take fatigue damage, gain that much attack and health. So you could play this now for like quick fatigue damage, or you could play it crazy when you're using Crescendo a couple of times, because remember, fatigue damage stacks. So deal that much damage to enemies will get your board of your opponents cleared. Eat the Imp, destroy a friendly minion to draw 3 cards. Great card draw. You're not going to worry about these 1/1s or 2/1s on board. Elementium Geode, draw a card and then deal 3 damage to your hero. For both the Battle Cry and the Death Rattle, it's great. Card draw is good. Lifesteal, deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. I wish this was to all enemy minions, but it's not, so don't worry about it. Tidepole Pupil, after you cast 3 spells while holding this, discover one of them. This is one of the brokenest cards that we've had in a long time. So you know what this one does. Domino Effect, deal 2 damage to a minion, repeating to the left or right, dealing 1 more damage each time. Reverberations, you know what this does. Trog, listen, this deck is not simple, easy, no problem, no brainer. This is not like Elemental Mage or Elemental Shaman or anything like this. This one takes a little bit of time. It's very situational, but it's also got a 59.7% at 4,800 dust. If you have to craft a lot of cards for this to play this, I don't know if I would jump to that. But, you know, it is an option there for you. And don't forget, all the deck codes are below in the description, of course, like I always do. All right. Last deck that we're going to talk about, but there's 2 variations of this. We're going to talk about Weapon Rogue because it's, you know, it's something pretty big. Number 1's 2,160 dust. So it's almost a little bit more expensive than the price of a legendary full craft. And this one is at 61.2%. There's also a variation that's at 58%. So listen, this is what you're doing. you're creating a weapon that has a lot of damage to it, and you're hitting your opponent as many times as possible to win the game. So all of these cards, first of all, there's nothing in here, no legendary cards whatsoever. That's great. Some of these cards are also ones that you already have, so that's cool. Preparation, next spell you cast, you want a low-cost spell. This is what you use. You got Deadly Poison to make your weapon +2. Deafen, Silence a minion, common. Combo, also deal 2 damage to this. You want those to those big minions on your opponent's side that could potentially change the game. Silence it, and then, you know, obviously you want to try to do it with the combo. But the main thing is silence those minions, okay? Dig for treasure. If it's a pirate, get a coin. You know what that one's for. Gear shift. Shuffle the 2 leftmost cards in your hand. Draw 3 cards. Swarthy Shiners, set the attack and the durability of your weapon to 3. That's what happens when you're trying to dig for treasure for that one. Stick up. Discover a quick draw. So it's going to be random, but it's still going to be cool. Valera's gift to backstab, Deadly Poison, or Fan of Knives. Whichever one you need. Most likely it's Deadly Poison. You want that weapon to be as strong as possible. You have Harmonic Hip Hop. This is what it's going to do. Deal 1 damage and then give your weapon 3 attack, or deal 3 damage, give your weapon 1 attack. All Manager, deal 2 damage and get a coin. Quick Pick. After your hero attacks, draw a card. Now, you can use your hero power if you don't have a weapon, but there's card draw in here to give you that weapon. Okay, so remember that as well. Tentacle Grip, deal 3 damage, get a 1/1 Chaotic Tendril. And then there's obviously the Sharp Shipment to give your weapon +2/+2. So the difference between the 2 decks, okay, Tentacle Grip is in one, and then this other one doesn't have Tentacle Grip. It has Dubious Purchase. And it depends on what you're seeing here. It depends on what you're playing against, what you're fighting against. If you have some crazy minions that you know your opponent's going to play, this is destroy a random enemy minion. Hopefully, it's going to be the right one. Remember, this is random we're dealing with. It's just situationally and based on what you're dealing with now. It could be a, 1 card here. If they have like 4 or 5 cards on board, minions on board, you're going to hopefully hit the best one. So try to use this sparingly. I'm going to give you both deck codes. I have not played this, but it just seems so simple. When I look through all the cards and I'm seeing people are talking about it on social media, I'm like, this is easy to pilot. It's essentially either finding that weapon that you have, the quick pick, or building your weapon that you have through your hero power, and then just doing crazy damage. And remember, you will have to deal with taunt. But against Death Knight, 62%, Demon Hunter, 65%, Hunter, 60%, Rogue, 69%. Like, there's some big numbers here. Against Warlock, this is 85% win rate. So that's pretty good. And the match duration is super short as well. The match duration average is about 5.3 minutes, and it's 6 turns. Look at that. It's pretty good. Turn duration is not that crazy. It's just, listen, it's fast, powerful. It's very aggressive. It looks fun. It might not be the best deck right now, but look at the popularity. It's growing. I have a feeling we're going to see more refinement in this one. Maybe this is what breaks Rogue out of their slump right now. And Rogue is absolutely in a slump. Rogue is worse than Warrior was a year and a half ago. So that's all I got for this week. Obviously, like I said, deck codes are below in the description. If you like what I'm doing, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.